All right, we're back and grabbing more Helldivers because we know what's about to happen next week with Escalation and Freedom's Flame, but there's still more happening right now and leading up to then. Welcome to the channel. This is LtBuzzLitebeer, and the major order seems to be swinging back in our favor, and I've got some insight into that one. Arrowhead's CEO asks for help and might have just stumbled across our next Warbond theme. A quick thought on the new armor sets and planets, and of course, we are back with your top 3 comments. Thanks again for your support. If you liked the video, take a moment to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. And let's get stuck into all the latest from our favorite democracy-spreading shooter, Helldivers. Normally, I would be running through the Superstore reset to start off with, but I wanted to instead send my respects and best wishes to all those being let go over at Bungie. Twitter is ablaze with the latest round of studio layoffs, which right now totals 220 people, which is roughly 17% of their workforce. Yeah, they're now gone. There's also another 155 members who will be transitioned over to Sony, while another 75 will be moved to another studio. So massive shakeups over at Bungie. Now, I know that Bungie and Destiny is not Helldivers, but Destiny is kind of one of the pillars for how my channel even started on YouTube. I used to raid all 3 characters each and every week, and I spent a ton of time in that universe. Looking it all over, and in the gaming industry, an industry that has seen some seasoned vets and newcomers alike leaving the business, it's really both maddening and sad to see. Arrowhead, if you have the capacity, maybe you can pick up a few of these now out-of-work Bungie developers and put them to work on this awesome game. All right, onwards to the Helldivers galactic map, and we might just be able to pull this one off. A couple of days ago, I was really worried, but after diving in this morning with some members of our Discord, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic we could actually pull this one off. Yeah, a bot 6-day major order spread over 5 planets, and we might just get it done. That's kind of crazy to think about. As it stands right now, we've taken Wazat, Vega Bay, and Virelia 5, leaving us Wezen and Ustatu, and right at about 48 hours to get the job done. Now, since we've taken Virelia 5, we've cut the bots off from Wezen, as both their FTL supply lines are now severed. So we should be able to make some headway on that one, and pretty quickly. Ustatu is the outlier, as it's still connected to the major bulk of the automaton forces. My only real concern with these last 2 planets are the conditions themselves. Both feature fire nados and of course high stamina drain, which when paired with the automatons tends to be a recipe for hell no, I'm going back to the bugs. Drop me a comment and let me know if you think we've got the firepower to pull off this major order. And while you're leaving that comment, let's check out today's video sponsor. I'm all about internet security, which brings us to the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. Did you know you're probably overpaying for online purchases, from travel to tech? And that's because many websites track your online activity. They keep tabs on where you're going, what you want to purchase, and most importantly, when. For instance, if you keep looking at that must-have item, these websites can start raising the price, building a sense of urgency that prices could go up even more, that supply is going to run out, and you often end up buying before you're ready. With the help of NordVPN, you can browse with bravado, protecting all your online activities, shielding you and your search history from prying eyes. It also masks your IP address so snoops don't know what country you're in. Did you know many online purchases vary in price depending on which country you live in? And by masking your location with NordVPN, you'll be able to access these cheaper prices. For a limited time, you can get a 2-year plan with a huge discount plus 4 extra months and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Just head to the link in the description, nordvpn.com/LtBuzz, so you don't miss out on this amazing deal. Back to it, and not shown because we crushed it out in one mission, was today's daily or personal order to kill 400 automatons, which you should be able to knock this one out in just one dive. And remember, that 400 is shared across the squad, so it isn't just you. Once done, collect those 15 medals, and now's the time to hit those extra dives, just in case you want to snag more medals for next week's war bond or in-mission super creds, so you can purchase that war bond for free. The Helldivers companion app gives us a clear picture of the task ahead. Ustatu and Wezen are both in the infancy of their liberation campaigns, and both have positive 0.8% modifiers, which is definitely what you want. Anything 0 to positive is good for us divers, as we are usually fighting negative percentages. Estanu keeps hanging out there for the bug divers, and I've lost track of how long this liberation campaign has lasted. If we could get just a few thousand of those divers into bot territory, we would blitz those last 2 planets and just be done with this major order. Fingers crossed we can get this one done in the next few days. All right, over to Shams Jorjani, Arrowhead's CEO, and he's really started to ramp up his social presence on Twitter, even posting a new progression Reddit post asking the community for suggestions, which we're going to get into in a moment. By the way, I found this one really interesting, and I found it over on Twitter as Ghost Quartz said, "I beg of you, stealth war bond in the near future. My life is yours." To which Jorjani responded, "First time I've heard of such an idea." Could that be the next war bond? Stealth. I mean, are we looking at G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, all black armor here? More stealth-oriented talents. I mean, there's certainly a lot the studio could do with that theme. The question is, will they? And can this game engine really support a healthy stealth ecosystem outside of what it has right now? And now over to that breaking Reddit feedback post news made by Jorjani himself just a few hours ago. And as always, links to all my sources can be found down in the video description. So anyways, let's check out what Jorjani says and asks of the community. "It is I, the still kind of newly minted Arrowhead CEO, asking for your aid in furthering our democratic duty. I was given permission by our glorious," imagine Goron as you read this, "designers to solicit your help in this, so it's not me on a wild business suit venture here." Anyways, I get bombarded all the time with suggestions and questions on if, how, resources, samples, medals, rec slips, etc. can be used in new ways. Yes, please tell me more. Many of us, let's face it, you have capped out and are sitting on mounds of digital gold. And he says, "Gold, Jerry, gold," and would like to use said gold patriotically to further the war cause, i.e. more fun ways of progression. I like what I'm reading so far. So I'm here to hear about your best ideas. We have our own designs and ideas, but we'd love to hear yours. In due course, we'll probably be formalizing how we solicit feedback like this into proper surveys, but I'm just a humble nerd asking for your help for now. Reddit is an okay stand-in, as it allows the best ideas to rise to the surface, hopefully. So, hit us with fun ideas on how to use resources, existing or new, for long-term progression in a way that's still in line with the overall design of the game. We're still aiming to do streams and vlogs, that sounds awesome to me, down the line, and a follow-up to this thread might be a fun topic to cover in due course. Disclaimers: do not interpret this as a promise or indication that things might or will change, or that your ideas will ever be used. It's just a friendly conversation. There. That should give us and me enough plausible deniability in the eyes of legal and the rest of you, right? Thanks in advance, and really looking forward to a fun discussion, and hope you enjoy the upcoming update. Yeah, I hope we do as well. And then he finishes up with, "P.S. My suggestion," which was shot down, "was to just copy the GoldenEye 64 modifiers." Wow, going old school is a fun thing to unlock for missions. That, or we suspend Pilstead, Johan, over one of those water tanks, and once we hit X amount of whatever spent, we just dump him in it. Or heck, just do nice things like we did with the children's charity thingy, which I'm all for. That last thing, the children's charity thingy, that was pretty cool. Okay, super relevant, possibly game-changing discussion right there. And By the way, use the link in the video description to go leave him some constructive criticism. But resources and progression are two areas of Helldivers that need some serious attention. Right now, many of you are maxed out on rec credits. You have super creds out the ass. You've maxed out on medals, and the only thing holding you back from full ship upgrades are those damn rare samples. Now, personally, I'd love to be able to donate to research, much like Warframe has in their dojo ecosystem, or earnable levels and unlocks for items based on certain levels of rec credits and resources obtained. You know, something, really anything above and beyond just trying to reach and grind for rank 150. This is another great topic for chat, and I always look forward to reading your comments, but also, and probably more importantly, make sure to head over to that Reddit post and leave them there as well. Oh, by the way, I also think Johan just needs to be dunked into a ice cold tank of water just because, or maybe we'll just label it as just for science. Okay, just a quick and random thought here. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm completely off script, and I just wanted to fit this in before we do the top 3 comments. But with those 2 bot planets coming up, both engulfed with planetary fire, wouldn't now be a great time to have one of those upcoming Freedom of Flame fire-resistant suits? That way, when the fire nados hit the extraction and you're out of smoke grenades, which, by the way, is a pro tip, that will put out the fire, you could instead rely on those suits to get you to the shuttle. Just a random thought. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. And now over to your top 3 comments from last video, starting off with Kool-Aid Man 7454, who says, I feel like the reason it's 75%, he's talking about the fire resistance on those new armors, instead of 90 like the arc res, is that the arc res can literally one-shot you without any warning. The flame, on the other hand, can be put out with a simple dive, and if you're experienced, can even be put out before it did any significant damage. So I can understand why it's 75%, because if it was 90 like the arc res, I feel like that would be too powerful of an upgrade for an expendable unit to have lore-wise. And interesting point made there about it being possibly too OP if the resistance was changed from 75 up to 95 like on those arc armors. And by the way, thanks for the thoughts there. I'll take it into consideration. Second comment comes from JapashFN. They shouldn't release the review cape until we have those 177 countries back for recruitment. I thought that was the whole point of Review Bomb, was to remind Sony not to mess with the Helldivers community, and although we got them to back off from PSN account needed, there are like 177 countries worth of excellent Helldivers to recruit locked behind Sony's mishandling of PC players. So my opinion is no cape until we have actually earned it. Yeah, solid point made here. That whole Sony thing is a dark chapter in Helldivers lore, right? And I again touched on it over the weekend. When does Sony stop being idiots and reinstate the regions and countries to purchase their fastest selling game of all time? It makes absolutely no sense. And you'd think it would be immediately, but apparently corporate wheels turn at a snail's pace. And finally, our third comment for today, TotPocket, awesome name there, finishes us up. I want the fire resistance armor to buff our initial resistance to fire. We get set alight by even looking at a blaze. Having a few seconds to walk through it without going up in flames immediately would be a godsend. All I've got to say here is amen, TotPocket, amen. Just looking at a fire catches us on fire, right? So yeah, anything that can give us a bit more sustain would be really helpful. And that's going to be it for today. If you want to make it into my next top 3 comments review, first off, make sure to leave me a comment about anything discussed in today's video, and your comment just might get a shout out in the near future. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. All my socials, including links to all of today's sources, can be found down in the video description, including my personal link to NordVPN. Shout out to the nearly 236,000 of you incredible ladies and gents from across the planet who have taken the plunge and tuned in to support me and my content. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.